our ass kicked. It's not
Yeah.
even
Okay.
close.
Well, we need to shoot behind us. That's what's harming us first. Now we set up this perimeter.
All right.
To the right. To the right. To the right. They've got hot dogs to the right. Oh shit! I'm down.
What am I even killing here?
Everything.
No, no, no. But these look like giant.
They're Johnny Gat figures.
Oh,
Okay. Anyway,
okay.
starts. I believe that you had a question.
Yeah, yeah. So tell me about gypsies. I can't believe this is actually a thing.
What the discrimination?
Yeah, yeah. The racism bit. This is like I'd only vaguely heard of this in the United States, but people actually hate gypsies. I have a friend that hates gypsies.
It,
Um,
so go on. Tell me. Give me the context that you suddenly thought, oh, this is a real thing. Were you
um,
talking to your friend and he suddenly
yeah,
started
yeah.
saying
So
"fucking gypsies"?
well, no. Okay, so Luxembourg, very international,
Yeah.
yeah.
So you live in
And
Luxembourg for listeners to clear that up.
right, right. So I live
Yeah.
in Luxembourg, and
But you're not
so there.
Luxembourgish.
No, I'm not
Yeah.
Luxembourgish. I'm American, right? But there's a bunch of Romanian people here because
Yeah.
okay, the people that move to Luxembourg tend to be from places where economic opportunity is not that great.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of Greeks here, right? Because the economy had collapsed, and there's a bunch of people from Eastern Europe,
Yeah.
and there's a bunch of Romanians. And my friend made a gypsy joke, and I was like, "What the hell are you even talking about?"
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Romanians are supposed to be okay, yeah. But then I realized she's actually serious. She hates gypsies. She hates, we were talking about immigration in the UK because she's trying to go back, and I'm like, oh yeah, blah blah blah, racism. She's like, yeah, yeah, but the gypsy things, that's cool. I,
Yeah. Of all the
I
racisms,
agree with this. I agree with this.
Gypsy racism is the coolest.
Well, no, she was like, because it's very hard to move. She's getting married to a British person, and despite the fact that
So
she's
where's
getting
she
married,
from?
Saudi Arabia.
Right. So she's a Saudi
And
Arabian
I was like, yeah,
marrying a
you're
British
Saudi.
person.
You're
Racist against
Saudi, and
gypsies.
you're,
Yeah.
yeah. You get this shit all the time, but okay, for gypsies, yeah, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Bloody women. They should know their fucking place. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying?
But
Funny how discrimination works in that way.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, she's also, yeah. Well, maybe I shouldn't say this because you might be able to figure out who she is. But, yeah, I couldn't believe this is actually a thing people are into.
Well, I don't know. I think you need to describe it. I think that racism takes many forms. I imagine that people who are into racism, probably the minority, like racism as a lifestyle choice.
I don't know if it's a lifestyle choice. It's not like,
Yeah. So what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm out doing some racism. Been looking forward to it for a while.
yeah, yeah. I got my new my razor in. I'm gonna shave my head this afternoon
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
go out.
Polish the old romper
No,
stompers.
she really thinks that gypsies should not be allowed to enter the country and their burdens on the social support network and all this stuff. They're because there are beggars in Luxembourg, right?
Yeah.
There are in any city. And she's they're gypsies and they're fake baby and all this stuff.
Yeah. So I mean it. So I think that probably the best way to describe it is that it is a thing. Okay, so if we think that how different countries have criminal enterprises that they are known for. So, for example, Nigerian's criminal enterprise, apart from all the oil companies skanking the Nigerians so they don't get any of their own oil
Yeah.
wealth, right? The Nigerian enterprise is classically the internet scam.
Right.
Okay, and then you'll have Russian mobsters and triads and Jamaicans, right? And so Romania has been stereotyped as being a place where criminal gangs basically they run pickpocketing groups and fake beggars, and so that's that is something that happens. I'm not sure how large an industry it is, but I also think it's important to say that in traveling communities, I don't think you could just say gypsies as such because there are different types and different cultures. So in the UK, you might have travellers who are people who, like gypsies, don't necessarily have a fixed home, but then they might have an Irish background rather than a Romanian background. Although originally, I believe, over thousands of years, these people kind of migrated from what would now be the Indian subcontinent across Europe.
Yep.
And my parents used to tell me a story about how I think they met up with some Romanis. And I don't know how the classifications of people, kind of mobile communities, work. But I know that there are terms like Gypsy, Traveller, Romani, and they're slightly different. But they met up with a group of Gypsies, and they used words that were the same in Hindi but reversed. So if you don't know what Hindi is, it's basically the national language of India, or the most spoken language of India. And in Hindi, the word for over here is idhar, if my pronunciation is correct, and over there is udhar. And these gypsies they met, they over here was udhar, and over there was idhar. And so it had just been reversed over time. But what's happened is that there are kind of two things that have conflated. So in the UK, there's a tabloid type of headline, which is that travellers, so Irish gypsies, if you will, people of Irish stock, move into fields and they take the caravans in there, and then they make a mess of it, and they take over land illegally, and they go around nicking stuff. So that's the kind of tabloid headline, right? And I don't know how accurate that is, but that's kind of the tabloid headline. And then you have the other travelling community, which is the Romanians, who have come in, who are, of course, shiftless, feckless, thieving buggers, because all people who are not Western European are by default.
Right.
And they are associated with, and I'm not saying this is necessarily correctly, associated with pickpocketing gangs, and women who sit on pavements looking desolate holding babies, right? And they kind of point to the baby, and you're expected to feel bad for the baby and give them money.
Mm-hmm.
And supposedly what happens is that the criminal gangs basically they give children to the women in order so the women get more donations. And so it's not necessarily a mother who is actually there destitute. But
really?
Yeah. But she might be part of a criminal enterprise, and she might have been coerced into it. So I'm not saying that these women are compliant in that sense. And then the idea is that the money then gets funneled back to Romania, where the criminal gangs and the heads of the gangs live extremely well.
I mean, this is not just the UK, though. So I went and I studied this like anyone would study this, right? I went on Wikipedia and Googled racism. And this is like all of Western Europe.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew about this, all right, World War II, whatever, Hitler gassed some gypsies.
Well,
although it's kind of interesting. They don't have any monuments.
So I think... So Hitler didn't just go after the Jews. He went after intellectuals. He went after gypsies, travellers, homosexuals. A man wrote to him, I think, asking if he could basically kill his disabled child, and Hitler thought, okay, that's a good idea, so let's kill disabled children. So the Nazis went into care homes and killed disabled children, right?
Nice.
So, yeah, so this is... Now, the other thing to think about is it's not just a remnant of this idea that... Sorry, let me rephrase that. You also have to consider the implications of what Romania went through under Ceausescu. So Ceausescu was a communist, in quotes, a leader, but basically was a despot. And as far as I know, he basically used the country as his private bank, and everybody lived in abject poverty, but he built this massive, ugly palace. And then the Romanian Revolution, they got hold of him and his wife, and they shot them. I'm not sure if they hung them upside down like the partisans did with Mussolini. And so this isn't... So the idea of Romania, like the breeding ground for this, isn't the idea of some a country that functioned normally, and then suddenly it just has these travellers who are criminals. Right? It was a country that was shit on by its leaders and has a fucked up economy. And that is what makes people from Romania emigrate. And I guess that the criminals worked out that one of the ways they could make money for their enterprises is using these begging and pickpocketing scams. But the problem, as with all this racism, is that it's very easy to look at the headlines, and it's very easy to align yourself against quote-unquote criminals without looking at the underlying causes or the networks or the real impact. And I think it's especially dangerous when you have... If she's a Saudi and she's complaining about gypsies potentially in the country she she's not a citizen of, that then
Right.
has all sorts of different layers of cognitive dissonance going on.
Yeah, no, I was just surprised that racism towards gypsies is actually a real thing because essentially my experience with racism towards gypsies
I've got
is from the TV show The Riches with Eddie Izzard,
okay,
and that's not even the right one, right? That's not even the right kind of traveler, so to speak.
right.
Those are the Irish, yeah.
I think in the UK, travellers are normally the Irish, but you talk about gypsies, or I think increasingly that's kind of becoming means the Romanians. But I'm not sure if those classifications are accurate. But I mean, I also wonder.
Did you notice I beat this?
I did notice you beat it.
Would you like to know the secret?
You stayed in one place and you hid, or you climbed up on stuff.
Yeah, you climb on the containers.
Yeah, yeah. But I think the other thing is that I haven't looked into it, but it's how long has there been prejudice against communities that do not have roots in that one place? And is this kind of a long-term thing as well? That's what I want to know. Are these very small but tough? Yeah, they're tiny.
Yeah. All right, let's just chuck this and then. What the? Oh man.
Are they men wearing halter tops, sort of their tank tops?
Fuck. Yeah, I got my
Boob
ass.
tubes, that's it.
Yeah. No, what was the question? I'm sorry. I was busy getting my ass kicked.
Something gypsies, something thieving, fake babies.
No, I mean, what was the previous question? The immediately previous question.
You couldn't believe it was a real thing, and that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
saw the
yeah.
riches. You saw the riches.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
This is basically all of it. I mean, so anti-Semitism is kind of that way for me, but I recognize that there are anti-Semites,
Yeah,
even if I don't, personally, I think I killed you.
yeah.
I think I can maybe kill this guy though if I just chuck one more. Here, wake up. Okay, that's not gonna work either.
No.
Yeah, it's just one after the other, really. Here, if I can just.
Oh, you
die.
got infinite grenades.
Yeah. Do you not?
Yeah, I did. I only just noticed. So, what is the riches?
The Riches is a TV show in the United States. There was 2 seasons, and it was put on by Eddie Izzard, and it's basically the story of Irish travelers
Yeah.
that find some folks that are dead on the side of the road
Yeah.
and steal their identities, and then he attempts to pretend to be a lawyer. It's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, if you like Eddie Izzard stuff, then yeah, it's what you would expect.
I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah, that's where I watched it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was good. Oh. Yeah, this is horrible. We were better at this before, I think. But yeah, it was. This was basically all I knew.
Yeah.
And at the start of the show, a police officer pulls him over and says, "Oh, my buddy doesn't believe you people exist." And I had no idea what the hell he was even talking
What
about.
cross dressers?
No.
They're like a
I
uniform.
don't think he
You go to-
cross-dresses even once in the show.
You
Which
go
is,
to a forest and you see this spectral silhouette of a cross dresser against the sky. So anyway, that gypsies exist or Irish people?
no, that that gypsies exist.
Yeah.
No, it was interesting. It was good.
Yeah.
Eddie Izzard's kind of backed off from the cross-dressing thing, though. He doesn't do that as much anymore.
Maybe he's just got. Maybe it's not his thing, or he does it in private now, or anyway. But so I don't understand. I mean, racism is a thing against people.
Yeah. But there's certain types of racism that I'm surprised when they exist. It's like racism against Polish people is still a thing in the UK.
But that's because they're coming over here and taking our jobs.
Yeah, I know.
What you got to apparently, allegedly, reportedly.
Allegedly.
Yeah. The thing that got me about racism in America is the I've told you this before, but the fried chicken and watermelon thing stereotype with black people.
Yeah. The watermelon one always cracks me up.
Well, because I didn't know that was. Oh, you need to get out of there. I didn't know that was a stereotype in America, or a racist stereotype.
No, I didn't know that for a long time either,
Yeah.
because it makes no sense at all.
Because I remember seeing some joke, and some kind of racist joke or some kind of meme about a black person eating fried chicken and watermelon.
Yeah.
And watermelon's okay, but I quite like fried chicken, and I couldn't understand what the point was because I was thinking, wait, everybody likes fried chicken.
Yeah. No, I don't. The watermelon one, yeah, I'd heard the fried chicken one, but the watermelon one, I still don't really get where that came from, why it would relate to black people.
Yeah.
Because, like, watermelon, you don't eat it every day. It's not an everyday thing. It's not a kind of thing you can order, even. How would it come about?
Well, you can probably get it in Greek restaurants. Must sell watermelon, mustn't they?
Greek?
Well, I don't know what countries have climates and soil that's good for watermelon.
The United States does. I mean, we used to grow watermelons growing up, but it's just a bit specific.
Were you a black child?
I was, yeah, I was black
Yeah,
as a child.
you grew up, and then when you went through puberty,
Yeah, yeah.
and you just
I kind of grew out of it, yeah.
yeah.
Just pulled my pants up and became white. That's the way that works.
Yeah. Why can't black communities pull their pants up and become white?
You work for MJ, yeah? No, that one's always very specific. Anti-Semitism, that one always kind of weirds me out that still exists. Because all of my experience of anti-Semitism is South Park. That's all I knew. I think I didn't. It was a long time before I knew what Jewing somebody down actually referred to.
Yeah, I mean, I used to have an internet friend who we were playing a game together, and one of his pals was on, and he called him Jew Nose because he had a Jew nose, and without any sense of irony or the idea that maybe that isn't cool. Now, the guy wasn't Jewish; he just had a Jew nose, right? But
Yeah.
it's like it wouldn't ever occur to me if one of my friends had a big nose to call him Jew Nose. I just
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I mean,
not-
this is.
it's like it's kind of like double speak or new think whatever it is in 1984, but in reverse, where it simply wouldn't have occurred to me to use that kind of language in that way.
Yeah. Yeah, no, these sort of things I'm still getting used to the fact that
Are
they
we supposed to
actually exist.
drop something? I've got a backpack. Well, I've got a backpack.
You picked it up?
But am I supposed to take something somewhere?
I think we're just supposed to. Oh, this hurts. These have the grenade launchers, the tall bitches. What? Can I not say that?
No, it's not that. It's just tall bitches and Juno sounds like some kind of pilot episode or something that got cancelled.
Yeah, probably because it was totally offensive
Yeah.
and unacceptable for modern television.
Junos
Like,
is the
Junos would work in the 50s probably, but I don't think bitches. We're not there yet.
Junos is the wacky butler.
So I did read a book called Lamb. Have you
Okay.
read Lamb?
No, I haven't. No
Anyways,
spoilers.
it's
shit.
the unofficial story of Jesus' best friend.
Okay.
And it talks about how Jesus went around the world to figure out how to be the Messiah, etc. But one of it is that judo was invented for Jesus.
Judo was.
Yeah, yeah. As he was traveling, and he was in like a Hindi monastery somewhere, like an
Hindu.
Indian monastery,
Yeah.
Hindu, whatever. Yeah, Hindi's
no,
the language.
yeah,
Hindu
yeah.
are the people.
The religion. When you're gone, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so I always get this mixed up. I have a friend that's Indian.
That's
I always-
ignorant.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
fine.
No. I have a friend that is Indian, and I always get it mixed
Yeah.
up. She always gives me shit. Anyways,
I'm not racist.
so
Actually,
he
I have to tell you this. I think there was a politician in the
God.
UK.
I did just do that, didn't I?
What?
I have a friend that's Indian. It's okay.
Yeah. No, but
It's
I think
not racist. It's
I,
just
thi-
a
I
mistake.
think there was a politician in the UK who said something really ignorant.
Hang on, let me pause it.
And
Gotta get a beer.
and then he said he wasn't racist because he had a black dentist or something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
No, because I mean, you can extend that to almost any profession. I'm not racist. I have a black maid.
Yeah.
I'm not racist. Most of my slaves are black.